Hey everybody. So here we go. I'm gonna burn my bridges. I gotta tell you what's the reality about progressives in Congress. So let me be clear: they do not have bad intent. They all mean well. They all want the $15 minimum wage passed. They want Medicare for all passed. They want Green New Deal passed. They want all of that. Okay, they're good people. But tonight they'll meet, and they will very, 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 very likely decide to do nothing about putting $15 minimum wage back into the COVID relief bill. And that means we will lose on $15 minimum wage. But it also means, and this is the most disheartening part, and this is why I'm doing this video and telling you guys, that means we will lose from here on out. You must be able to block a must pass bill if you are to have power. Honestly, it's just basic politics. It's not that complicated. It's not some brilliant strategy. Why does Joe Manchin get everything he wants? Why is he like now? People are wondering, is he the president? He took out $15 minimum wage almost single handedly from this bill. Why? He said, "I won't vote for the bill if it's in it." That's how you do politics. And people might find that uncomfortable. And if you're a good progressive and a good person, you might say, well, that endangers people a little bit and it delays the bill a little bit and he shouldn't do that. Okay, yes, but it does lead to power. It does lead to a seat at the negotiating table. If you're not willing to block a bill, you have no power at all. And that is current state of play. So look, I get to people who should deserve a tiny bit of credit and those that don't. But I need you to understand that this is meant to be constructive, and I will not just do it as criticism and then leave it be. I'll tell you what should happen and what could actually lead to a victory. So when you have a must-pass bill like this COVID relief plan, you're not actually killing the bill if you vote no. Because what is Biden going to do? Drop it? He's not going to drop it. That's not a thing that's possible. You can't drop this. You can't drop the budget. You can't drop the defense bill. Okay. Those are must passes. So what you do is you force, when you vote no, that forces them back to the negotiating table. But this time you're actually at the table. Right now, we're not at the table at all. Now, if you're thinking, Cenk, why are you even talking about progressives? Aren't the people blocking this Manchin, et cetera? Yes, but everyone leaves the analysis right there. And that's only half the story. Manchin goes, okay, the House version, the Democratic version of the bill, I will vote no, so you must do what I tell you, okay? That is when progressives must do the equal and opposite. I'm going to call it the Manchin rule. Okay, you vote no, we vote no. You vote yes, we vote yes. Then it's on you, brother. Then it's on you. Instead, they're likely going to choose to do nothing. Now, I could even live with that. And you're going to say, Cenk, how could you live with that? If they had a good plan to somehow get the $15 minimum wage passed in another way. So if they said, hey, Cenk, look, there's a bunch of senators that are reluctant, and here is our battle plan for flipping them. Great, I'm all ears. I'm going to tell you guys to get excited. I'm going to tell you guys to be part of that plan, and I'm going to give credit to all the people who came up with that great plan, and let's go execute it together. If they say, hey, we're not going to block this one, we're going to block the other one, and it's not maybe and it's not vague, it's definite, and okay, then that's a totally fine plan. And waiting an extra 8-9 months for one of those other bills to come up sounds awful to me, but I might even be willing to do that if you were actually going to do it. So, and as things stand now, they're not going to. The progressives in Congress will not vote no. They will not vote no on this one, but I'm afraid they're not going to vote no on any of them. If you don't use your power, we're never going to get these bills passed. You know how hopeful I am if you ever watch the Young Turks. And I was hopeful and optimistic about this one. And in fact, we got some of the way there, all of us together, right? And so if you got a good plan, I swear to God, we're going to go guns blazing all together on it. But you can't tell us that you're not going to put the minimum wage on this. You're not going to vote no. You're not going to block the bill. And again, blocking the bill is not actually blocking the bill. They must renegotiate. They must renegotiate. And at that point, they have to listen to you. Right now, you're telling them they don't have to listen to you. Don't worry about it. Only listen to Manchin. And that's exactly what's happening. Exactly what's happening. And by the way, if you're going to tell me your plan is, don't worry, Nancy Pelosi's on our side and she'll do it later. Okay, on that one, I'll be super clear. That is not the correct answer. Nancy Pelosi's nowhere near on your side. Neither is Chuck Schumer. I've seen them play this shell game 1,000 times over. Neither is Joe Biden. Neither is Kamala Harris. The guys are the most gullible. I'm sorry, but folks that are like regular voters, etc. But sometimes it happens with legislators too. Actually, a shocking number of times it happens with legislators. Oh, no. Schumer said he was interested. He wants to do the minimum wage. Who cares what he said? What did he do? Right now they could put it in the bill. And they could say Manchin and Sinema. No, the answer is no. Now we're going to negotiate. Right? Instead, what all of them are saying is, no, we're not going to negotiate. We're just going to give Manchin whatever he wants. No, we can't have it. If you got a plan, I'm 1,000,000,000% in. But if you can't win and you choose not to fight, and then you don't have a plan on top, no, I'm all the way out. So, and look, guys, my job is to do the news and be honest with you guys. And right now, I don't see any plan at all. And so you're not going to get minimum wage, $15 minimum wage, and you're not going to get any progressive priorities. They got to figure out what they want to do. So look, you want me to tell you obvious things? Sure. It's the reality is Biden, Schumer, and Pelosi never wanted it. They were always going to play this game. And if you're a young Turks viewer, you know that for a fact because you saw me with your own eyes tell you over and over again, they don't mean it. They're never going to actually vote yes on minimum wage. That Biden never meant that promise. And I told you that was going to be the very first thing thrown out of the COVID relief bill. You all saw it with your own eyes. And that's exactly what happened. Why? Am I some political genius? No, it's super obvious. They work for the Chamber of Commerce. They work for their donors. It's the most obvious thing in the world. If we had any journalists in this country, you would all know that. They would show you the millions of dollars like we do. They would show you the millions of dollars that they take from their donors on those issues and how they vote with their donors. That's who Biden is. That's who Manchin is. That's who Sinema is. If they were like a wrestling tag team, they'd be called the Chamber, okay? Because they work for the Chamber of Commerce, who's their donors. It's the most obvious. So that's obvious, right? Like if you're a brain dead so-called journalist in D.C., you're like, oh, no, they said it. I'm going to write down, oh, Biden wants it. Oh, golly gee, Biden, Schumer, and Pelosi. Wait, let's just think about that for one quick second. You're telling me Biden, Kamala Harris, Schumer, and Pelosi all want the minimum wage, and they have the House, the Senate, and the White House, but somehow they can't get it. Why? They ran out of shells, and they invented a thing called a parliamentarian. Does the parliamentarian actually exist? Of course it does. Does it have any power? No, zero power, none. If you really wanted it, what did you see on Biden's campaign page or any other campaign pages? All right, number one priority is respect the parliamentarian, even though he has no power. Number two is minimum wage. Number three is paid sick leave. No, we never saw respect rando parliamentarian that gives you advice. Okay, duly noted, dude. Or in this case, the woman that's in charge, right? Great. Okay, I duly noted. I don't agree. Have vice presidents done that in the past? Yes, Hubert Humphrey did it many times. Many other vice presidents, and Walter Mondale did it. So it is very normal. It's part of Senate tradition to say, oh, yeah, I hear your advice, and I don't take it because the person with the power is the presiding chair. The vice president is the presiding chair. Biden is telling Kamala Harris, you are not to back the minimum wage. So don't tell me they want it when they have all the power in the world and they're not giving it to you. That means they don't want it. What they say is irrelevant. What they do matters. So now, so that's obviously true, right? So, but what about progressives? Look, I'll give Bernie half credit because we all asked them to introduce as an amendment. It looks like they're going to introduce it as an amendment. And so I'll give him, but if Bernie wanted to, and it's not just on Bernie, but it is also on Bernie, Elizabeth Warren, Ron Wyden, anybody, just one senator can go, no. If Manchin votes no, I vote no. Manchin votes yes, I vote yes. It's on Manchin, it's not on me. Not one of them is going to do that. Not one of them. Okay, now let's go to the House. You said, well, what do the progressives in the House have anything to do with this? It's a Senate issue. No, the House can easily block the bill because the Senate amends it. They send it back over to the House. The House has to vote again. Now, how many do you need in the House? Just 6. You just need 6 progressive Democrats to say no. We're not going to agree to never do the minimum wage. And look, I'll challenge them too. And so this is why I say it's burning the bridges. Because when you're out of power, then you're on the Young Turks and you're looking for, volunteers and donors. I'm keeping it real. And I don't begrudge that at all. I love that, right? Because I want our audience empowered. I want you to be able to effectuate change. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get you positive change in the world. And we promised you these bills. We promised you minimum wage. We promised you Medicare for all. We promised you Green New Deal, college for all. And now to turn around. But when people get in power and you criticize them like I'm doing now, even if it's in the most constructive way, even if it's in a loving way, saying, I know you've got good intent, but you've got to show me a plan for actual success. They say, oh, no, that's it. That's it. You burnt your bridges. You're not allowed to criticize anyone in power. No problem. Because I don't work for them. I work for you guys. I do. I literally work for you guys. You guys do the membership stuff and all the other stuff. And I'm not going to let you down. My job is to tell you the truth. If it turns out they had a plan, I tell you guys, cool it. Trust me, okay? We're going to get this done, and we're going to be strategic about it, right? But if you tell me, no, I'm not going to do it, and I don't have a plan, or I have pie in the sky where Pelosi and Schumer magically wind up being on our side, and then even if they were, what would they do? $15 minimum wage cannot pass as a standalone bill. It will get filibustered. It must be in a must-pass bill, and you must be able to block that bill if you want the power and you want it to pass. So if they continue on this path, and that's why I'm doing this video, even though it's going to cost me all my relationships, is because I've got to tell you, I think I have to tell them, and they'll be so offended. How dare you tell us what reality is? But guys, you tell me. So that's why I'm saying let me challenge them, but in a good way, right? At least I think it is, but I'm sure they'll be deeply, deeply, deeply offended, right? Tell us what your plan is. And I don't know if you could tell the groups and the progressive groups, and it's a secret and et cetera, but tell somebody, because right now, that's what I've asked everyone on planet Earth. There is no plan B. Well, if there's no plan B, then I'm not going to come out here and tell you guys that it's going to be okay. My optimism is rooted in reality. We have done 1,000 things together. The audience and us, okay, 1,000 things. I honestly think we've created some miracles together. But in order to do that, you can't just wish it into existence, and you can't just have good intent and go, cross fingers, right? No, you have to have a plan for taking power and using it on behalf of your voters, on behalf of the people that you made those promises to. So if they got a plan or they got anything that they're going to do, I would be ecstatic if I was wrong. I would be jubilant if I was wrong. I would be so happy. I would look like the Cenk that you saw on the night that they all won their elections. When they won their elections, you saw me jumping through the roof. And why did you see that? Because I thought we were going to get this stuff done. And if now they turn around and they join the "there's nothing we can do" crew, no, I'm out and you should be out. So look, will we give them a second, third chance? Yes, as long as there's something real, right? So I'm not drawing some sort of line and saying, oh, that's it. And I'm not pretending to have any power that I don't have. I have zero power. The only thing that I have is you guys. So if you guys say, hey, what Cenk is saying makes sense, I'll do that and I'll follow that path. Great. If you don't think it makes sense and you think, oh, no, they probably Pelosi and Schumer are on their side, and probably it'll happen a couple of years later. Okay, then you do that. Okay, and that's your choice. So if they want to come out and explain how they got a great strategy, I'm all ears, ecstatic to hear it, etc. But if they don't turn around, that's why I'm doing the video. If they don't turn around, either tonight or ever, we have no chance of winning. They've got to hold the line. If they don't hold the line, there's no hope. If you have power, The point of it is to use it. If you're the budget chairman, you should use your power as the budget chairman. Corporate Democrats do it all the time. Richie Neal kills us as the chair of the Ways and Means Committee. He has killed untold number of progressive legislation. And Pelosi goes, oh, there's nothing I could do. Richard Neal, budget chair. I mean, the Ways and Means chair. There's nothing you can do. The chairman decides. Now we go over to the Senate. All of a sudden, the chairman doesn't decide. Oh, come on, guys. We're tired of this shell game. We're super duper exhausted of this shell game. Pass the damn thing. There is a way to pass it, and you know it. But you've got to, and now this, all right, anyway, you know what they got to do. They know what they got to do. If they don't do it, it's okay. There's no threats here. There's no nothing here. There's just disappointment and reality. You know how you could prove me wrong and say, ha, that Cenk guy, he doesn't know what he's doing. You should never listen to him. Pass the damn thing. Pass the $15 minimum wage. Throw me under a bus. Throw me under an 18-wheeler. I don't care. But for God's sake, have a plan, fight for it, hold the line, and pass it. That's what we elected you for. And if at some point you can't stand up to Pelosi, Schumer, and Biden, look, super last thing, guys. If you can't stand up to those guys, we're never going to win. And don't get me wrong, there is there is a significant downside to those folks standing up to those people. They'll get all the hate in the world, okay? The Pelosi and Schumer will yell at him, and they'll say, you're get committee assignments and this, and your constituents, and they needed this bill, and the bill must pass, and you're delaying it, and you're a monster, and all of the corporate media will join. All the corporate media will rain down hell on them. I know that. But you're going to be surprised at how easy it is to get past that. The corporate media hates you anyway. The leadership was never going to give you what you wanted anyway. The reason that they would be upset is because you are demanding power. How many times do we have to do the same Frederick Douglass quote? Power never concedes without a demand. Tonight, they're going to decide whether they're going to do a demand tonight. And if they decide no, at some point, they've got to figure out if they're ever going to demand power on your behalf. That's their decision to make. I just tell you what's happening. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. Thank you for doing all that you can. Look, I'm exhausted from trying, but hashtag do the minimum. Do the minimum. It's the minimum wage, and it's the lowest priority we have. If you can't do the bare minimum, we're never going to win for another 2 years, another 4 years, and God knows what happens in 2024, and on the misery goes. The wages are so low. They're so oppressively low. It's $15,000 a year if you work full time. This could be a $92 billion raise. You think you can't beat Manchin? And they always say, well, Manchin's going to vote. No, well, there's nothing I could do. There is something you could do. Rebellion PAC's going to run ads. You could run ads. You could go to West Virginia and say, this guy is lowering your wages by $92 billion. It's $15 minimum wage is incredibly popular in West Virginia. It's incredibly popular in Arizona. It's incredibly popular all across the country. Don't tell me there isn't anything you can do. And I know it's painful to you, but you're choosing not to do it. I hate that uncomfortable reality, but it is real. That is real. All right, Young Turks.